Fortunately, it was a rather disappointing 3-0 win for the side of UNCC, but here in the final match of Week 2 on the Bravo stream, we look to go ahead and recorrect that just a bit. My name is McCormiel, along with me is Rome. And well, Rome, you had the pleasure of being able to cast over one of the craziest finishes we've seen all year, not only in just the CCL, but inside of Vanguard in totality. I don't know.
It was absolutely insane to be able to call that one. And for my first day here in the CCL, man, I couldn't have asked for anything better. That was an absolutely insane series. So I'm expecting nothing less from this next one that we are about to watch. It's going to be Queen's University Esports, and they're going to be visiting the University of Ottawa Garnet. This one is going to be wild. Let me just tell you, University of Ottawa Garnet, they might be 0-2. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, they lost a Map 5 Round 11 in their last match. So this squad, they are going to be coming back with a vengeance right here today.
So you take a look at the head-to-head. We see a 2-1 there on the side for Queens overall in terms of record. 2-2 for Hardpoint and 1-1 in the S&D. Of course, just a bit worse there for uOttawa. So we see 1-2, 1-4, 1-2. Overall, though, head-to-head, again, as we say, this is probably going to be more favorited toward the sides of Queen's Esports. We have to kind of go ahead and take a look back to this entirety of the series overall, because two teams, brand new to inside of the CCL, as we've seen a lot throughout this year already.
Yeah.
The biggest kind of question mark that I have, more or less, is the fact of, is Queen's Esports now going to be able to take a match against uOttawa? Against, you know, a relatively strong team, or is it going to be more of the same where they see glimpses of dominance here and there and can close out a series that's going to be relatively close overall? I'd have to fancy the chances about uOttawa simply due to the fact that Queen's Esports have played relatively lower end opponents inside of the division so far.
Yeah, understandably so. And, you know, with this squad, the home team in the University of Ottawa, when you're looking at this roster, it really comes down, in our opinion at least, to the player hash, man. This guy is the main slayer for this squad in Ottawa. And if he's having a bad game, a lot of the times this squad, it seems like they are going to be taking a loss. But if he is on and popping, then things are going to be incredible for this squad. So I want to see if he's going to be able to really lead them in this first hard point and really be that main slayer for his squad. You can see Goonsky, Slayer, and Hish are going to be meeting him up. And man, this squad right here, they've got some talent.
You know, a lot of people might recognize the name Ottawa from the two sister teams that were first and second overall last season. Yes, that's Ottawa, but that's in Kansas. This Ottawa team comes out of Canada. Same thing with Queens. So this is a battle of two Canadian rosters inside of the Northeast Division of Pool B. However, as we go ahead and take a look at the Queens Esports roster, we can go ahead and see for the Golden Gales. It is SU, Conceited, Obad, and Lucid. Now, Conceited, the thing is, right, last season, and rather this season, I should say, I went back, was looking through the maps that they played against some of their opponents already. It seemed like when Conceited was playing well, the team was performing well around him. And that was kind of the big exclamation mark for this team. And then going forward, of course, really what I want to see more or less is everybody being able to conform around Conceited, but of course have their big moments and then be able to not just have it to be relying upon one player going off for those games to be won by the side of Queen's Esports. So that's the biggest thing going here, at least for relatively the hard point to start off this series, is I want to see everybody else, not just Conceited, being able to step up to the plate and find success early on in the series.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if we're talking about both squads, it seems like for Ottawa, it is going to be Hash, and for Queens, it's Conceited. So who is going to be able to pop off more right here? They're going to be the slaying leaders of each respective squad. So coming into this one, really, it's going to be anyone's series, man. I really think that this is going to be an extremely close matchup, and the fact that Ottawa's last series went the absolute distance to the very final round of Search and Destroy, I'm expecting nothing less here, man. I think we're going to be here a while.
I absolutely agree. I really hope this one goes to a Game 5. And again, as I said beforehand with Cash, that last series, whether it be a selfish reasoning for me wanting to see a lot of Call of Duty being played, or the fact that, of course, a Map 5 just provides the most excitement for everybody that's watching, there's probably a mix of both of those two things. Either way, though, we'll take a look at our map set here. Map number 1 is Bacage, followed by, you guessed it, for S&D, Bacage once again, and then Gavutu will round out our first guaranteed 3 maps. If we do need to go to the distance to 4 and 5, well, then we'll see Berlin twice in a row. Overall, though, Rome, for Bacage, we say it every time, Very, very dicey map, close quarters, very chaotic. It rewards the team that can thrive inside of that chaos. What's the biggest key to success here in map number 1?
The biggest key is that communication and the rotations. You know, a lot of people like to talk about the slaying, but this weekend, if you guys watch the CDL, you guys know that this squad and subliners, they won on this map without winning the slay. Sometimes you do not need to win in the slaying department to win. You just out-rotate. You play better as a squad. You can come out victorious. So your comms have to be clean. You have to understand when to rotate, where to rotate, how to hold spawns, and when really to press the issue when you get an advantage. And that's what I'm going to be looking for these teams to do here in this map number 1.
Bakaj, as a map, I've loved it and I've hated it so far, but of course, if you are just joining us for the first time here inside of the CCL, at the very bottom of the screen when we have our flyovers, you can see what it takes to go ahead and win a map of Hardpoint. It also explains the mode just a little bit in there as well. Either way, though, of course, when new teams join in, a lot of new players and spectators will come along in the broadcast and see what their team has to offer. Maybe it's some friends, maybe it's some family members and or related persons to these players that are inside of the series. Either way, though, we welcome you to the CCL family if you are just joining us for the first time. And of course, while this match is going on, we do have the Alpha stream live as well at twitch.tv/collegecod. It's literally just the name of this channel without the Bravo at the end of it. And of course, that game right now is against NJIT and Rutgers Esports. So, as the 10:30 games kick off, week 2 will be coming to a close. And as we start things off here, Slayer's going to be the first one in towards the top of Barn. Nothing on the board just yet as 15 seconds have ticked off the clock.
Yeah, just some nice early plays coming out of both squads, but man, Sue coming in hot. Somebody in the chat said he's the best AR in the game, but he's coming through with the sub, looking absolutely amazing right now. Hish starting it off 3-0. He's going to be up top Barn, make it 4-0. What an incredible start for him.
We'll look to the middle of the map. See a few players coming off the spawn here from uOttawa. And in towards the middle of the map, Queens Esports. They've gone ahead, extended their lead just a bit early on here. Of course, very back and forth it'll be in towards the middle of the map. P2 will be the first opportunity for a team to find themselves maybe 20-30 seconds of uncontested time. However, that's almost a funny joke in and of itself. Hash will be looking through the middle of the barn. Trade on to Sue from behind. That's going to be a red kill feed besides just one, but the bottom spawns come in from the south side of the map. They'll be pushing up into the barn.
Yeah, and as you can see, Queens Esports, they definitely have the rotations. They've got the spawns. They played it perfectly, and this is what you want to do. Everyone knows that the first hill, it's really just about flexing your muscles, getting your shot warmed up, getting as much time as you can here, and just making sure the enemy doesn't get any free time on that hill that is so easy to contest. But as you can see, the entire kill feed is going red. Queens Esports are looking incredible, or excuse me, Ottawa, Garnet are looking incredible over Queens Esports as they are racking up all this time on P2 in incredible fashion.
Look, the Hash, 8 in a row now. Potential double digits is conceded. All the way over on the tank. We'll be looking all the way towards the back of the spawn. Fortunately enough for the side of Queens Esports, you shut down the player who was looking for potential double digits. Hash before that point, though, was 0-3. Goes on an 8 spree. It just goes to show you how quickly a player can turn around on a map like Bakaj. Hish from the top of the building will jump down into P3. The rotations are there, but how long will it last? Right now, uOttawa once again finding themselves inside of the point. Relatively even in terms of slaying across the board, but it has been uOttawa garnishing a lot of the time. This Hish will look out to the middle of the map. 15 seconds off the board here, and point number 3. Once again, Queens Esports on the outside looking in.
Yeah, just overall nice plays coming out of this squad. Queens able to even the score just a little bit now, only finding themselves down by about 15. 30 seconds remaining on this hill. Nice plays coming out of Hish. Great plays coming out of Garnet all together. Let's see how many points they're going to be able to rack up on this one.
Lucid hops in. Bunny jumps around inside the point. Unfortunately, once again, kill feed all red. As uOttawa are going to look to push out through the middle of the map. You can already see 2 players up across the map. Streaks galore for uOttawa to use a little bit later on. I believe Hish and Hash are both streaking, 12-5 and 11-5 apiece, respectively. Obad looks around to the right side. Lucid will go ahead and find yet another kill. So it was the uOttawa roster that had rotated a bit early. Scrap time went to Queens Esports, but finally it is going to settle the dust, at least for a bit of time, as Queens Esports are right around the barn.
Yeah, we're on with Slayer now, currently on a 3 streak. He's about halfway to getting that glide bomb. A couple more to come in, just needing one more. Let's see if it's going to happen as he's playing his life, and this is what you like to see. He's playing this top barn area, keeping this control, keeping it contested, but going to drop down and get taken out. Nice plays coming in from Garnet. Will they be able to get some time? It's still going to be contested heavily by both teams.
two will fly in. Conceded with a double. Last one going to be pushing in for the contention. Well, guess who it is from up top? It's Obad, who has been relatively great here thus far. About 10 seconds of time separate these two teams, continuing to close that gap with 15 seconds left. We'll go down here over towards the swamp and towards the bottom where P5 will pop the last hill on our first set of rotations. 60 seconds of time to garner for each of these two teams. Who will claim it? Who will stake it out? Right now, it seems like uOttawa will be the first one to go ahead and find the time.
Yeah, and we find ourselves with a tie game, 69 all. Now it's going to be a little bit of an advantage coming in for this Ottawa squad. This is exactly what you want to see. You see they have the control of the spawns. This is exactly what they want. They're spawning these Queens players right at the top, and they know that they're going to be flooding in, able to get a lot of good time already on this hill. They just need to keep on racking it up as they've been doing. Great stuff coming out of them.
Break in. Queens Esports have found themselves on the point. It's been really as head-to-head of the first set of rotations as you would like to see on Bakaj. Queens Esports, they won on the laughing end of the joke, looking to turn that around here later inside of this first half. uOttawa, it seemed like they were going to be leading the way all the way through here in the beginning of the game, at least in terms of slaying. Now Queens Esports, though, they've gone ahead, found themselves right back even-footed with them, and it's just 8 seconds separate these two teams. The last 8 seconds should actually go to the side of Queens Esports unless Ish has something to say about it. Turns around, won't be able to find the kill, so we should be looking at about a 2-point split between these teams as we rotate back to middle map. Point one will pop, another fresh 60 seconds of time to go ahead and find.
Yeah, so pretty much an all dead even game. We told you guys these squads were pretty evenly matched coming in, and they are showing exactly that, as it is 89-91. Couldn't be any closer. This one is going to definitely come down to the wire, in my opinion. These squads already are putting in that work. You can see Conceded sitting at 16-10 through this rotation. Hish, he's 19-11 for his squad. Make that 20. He's putting up the numbers. This is exactly what you want to see out of a player like him.
Up from the top ropes, conceded 7 in a row. You got full streaks to work with now if you're Queens Esports. Trying to once again reclaim the lead. You spot one out towards the left, back in towards the barn on the right. You jump down in towards the bottom. You try to chase for the kill. Can't find it just yet. Oh, it's just going to actually slide around the corner, but the pistol kill and the cleanup is there. Rotations on to P2. Now for the side of Queens Esports. It was the last time where uOttawa was in the barn and, of course, got early rotations on to P2. Now we're going to see with the advantage if they're going to be able to hold on to this tasty, tasty hill, too.
Exactly. We know how important those rotations can be. And right now, as you can see, the kill feed starting to go in favor of Queens. And we just got to see if they're going to be able to hold down this swamp as they're about to get flooded out by Ottawa. How are Ottawa going to be able to push in? You can see a nice flank coming in from Sue. Able to pick off one. Stuns a player in the back. Going to be eating some bullets. Not able to turn and burn him. But they are still going to be having control, at least for now. We got to see if Obad's going to have something to say about that, as this kill is going to be massive for them to try and regain the spawns, but that is not going to be the case, as Ottawa are able to keep on slaying out, and they're going to be picking up this scrap time unless somebody has something to say about it.
Sue from up top looks to jump down in towards the point. Obad will go ahead and fight for these last 10 seconds of time. 2:08 on the game clock. It looks like it could be potentially a factor later in towards the end of this game.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see if that does come to fruition, though. We rotate back in towards P3 now. Red arrows were on the right side of the map. They were spawning close in towards point 3, but it is going to be parallels from each top and the south portions of the map to get back on towards this hill. 124 to 124 again. Just dead even all the way through thus far. Conceded and Lucid will pair for 2. The first try come through the doors won't be able to find anything except their own demise. And now as Hish will be the last one alive, you look for the first, you'll be able to find it. Turns back around and towards the kitchen, plays a mind game, is able to find the second. Now you look to Sue, who's in the point. We'll just give them all 3, tally them up, and tries to go for 4.
Yeah, Hish right now, he is a man on a mission. 28-17, ladies and gentlemen. He might only have 45 points on the hill, but I mean, hey, look, right now with the way this game's going, that's a pretty good amount of time. Hish is slaying out. He definitely had his coffee this morning. The shots are hitting, and right now, Ottawa, they are able to find themselves a nice 20-point lead, and there haven't been many big leads right now in this game. So if you have a 20-point lead, you got to be able to build off of that, and that's exactly what they're going to be looking to do as they're rotating into this barn hill.
Comes out the back half, 30 kills from Hish thus far, as you basically have half the game still remaining. If you do get to that 250-point mark, tons of kills to be left on the board for either of these two teams. Queens Esports, though, that was a huge break. Exactly what the doctor ordered. You'll be in the bottom of the barn right now. The farmer's daughter, well, nowhere in sight just yet. You're trying to go ahead and win that prize by winning the game. As it is 155 to 143, a 12-point advantage to the side of uOttawa. Garnet now looking to go ahead and close yet again, as Sue should be in the hill with the rest of the team. It's a one-on-one gunfight, and you'll have to go ahead and find the players coming off a rotation.
Yeah, and we talked about it. Conceited is the player that needs to pop off, and if you look at him in the kill feed, he's got 31 to his name as well for Queens. So it's Hish versus Conceited right now. Both of these players are looking to solidify themselves with a map 1 victory, which can be so huge in a series that is so tightly evenly matched between these two squads, as the glide bomb is going to be able to come in, not going to be able to connect. Not sure if that player was taken out too soon, but 15 make it 20-point lead coming in for Ottawa, as we are going to be here on this final hill. We got to see exactly if they're going to be able to break it or not. Nice plays coming out of Queens as they get a lot of kills in the feed.
That was just nice. They set up a pinch play. They all collapse on the hill at the exact same time, but here comes a streak invested from the side of Queens. The first player where you're retargeting doesn't get it, but you just catch the toast, maybe the outskirts of bad. So as Hish is able to find that kill, Lucid around the corner, you jump shot at 2. 5 in a row was there. Unfortunately, won't be able to carry that streak any further. Now with 15 seconds left, it is the side of uOttawa who are trying to get just that much closer to that 200-point mark. 10 seconds left, conceded inside of the point. You got a fighter pilot to use a little bit later on if you want it. It should be a 10-point game here as we rotate back to the middle of the map yet again.
Yeah, and we can assume that on this hill, there's going to be a lot of time dwindling on the clock and not a whole lot of hill time gained. So, you know, the clock is definitely going to be becoming a factor pretty soon. It just depends on how contested this first hill really is. Lucid able to pick up a nice 2-piece. This might be some time gained right back for Queens. This game is so even. I don't think anyone's had even a 25-point lead. This game has been so back and forth.
Queens Esports on the point. Here comes another streak use from Hish. Can't find the player that's outside of the barn. Slayer in the middle of the map. You're holding on to P1. This is probably the most time I've seen anybody get on P1. Not only just inside of this game, but early on here inside of Vanguard. 199 to 180. 20-point lead only growing right now for the side of uOttawa. If you're Queens Esports, you've been playing catch-up the entire game. What do you have in the back pocket? What do you have in the gas tank left for yourselves here, as you're going to be able to spot yet another one out and towards the top? Conceded with 2. You look down, trying to find the player inside of the barn. Lucida's going to be there. You tag him up with your own shots, but a 5 spree, almost able to make it 6, is going to be good enough to get your team the advantage, at least early on, over towards the swamp.
There's a 40 bomb drop for Conceited and for Hish on the map. 2 players absolutely going off. Finally, a sizable lead coming in for Ottawa, but as I say that, Queens get the money. They've just taken over the hill. They've got the spawns, and if they can slay out right here, this is going to be yet again a tie game. 2 players going to be dropping again. And this is incredible. What a back and forth we've been seeing from 2 squads that are so evenly matched. This one is going to definitely be coming down to the wire. It's going to be all about clutching up, getting these rotations, and this next hill, it is going to be a war.
You invest the Belay bomb. Slayer goes for 2. Hish there as well. The trades back and forth. Pinstripe kill feed. Queens Esports, they'll get on to P2. And this is big because you'll look at the play clock up above. 22.5 seconds left. 5 points separating these 2 teams. And Queens Esports, they'll be able to take the lead here. But guess who's on 5? It's going to be Slayer. Sue over towards the top. P3 is going to pop. 2 seconds separate these 2 teams. 21 seconds left on the play clock. Will it go down to 250? Will it go down the time? And as Hash goes for 3 in a row, the rest of the kill feed lights up red. And now it's going to be the side of uOttawa Garnet going towards and marching towards that 250-point mark. 20 seconds left. Slayer, the rest of the team, now trying to push back towards the point. Slayer's going to come through with 1 in the glide bomb. The rest of the team now just trying to fly around. It's a foot race back to the point. It's going to be back and forth here to the end.
Yeah, and it looks like Ottawa are going to be able to clean things up. 1 player going to be contesting. Team kill comes in, but all 4 players did drop. Will Queens be able to break it? This is the final push.
2 seconds, 1, it's all over from now. uOttawa, the team that comes in with the worst record overall, goes ahead and finds a map number 1 victory on the chaotic Bacage. And unfortunately for Queens Esports, well, you start this series down 0-1. You go to a search and destroy mode, which seems to be decent for you thus far. But you gotta give credit where credit is due. And right now, that's gonna be the side of uOttawa Garnet, who find themselves with a 1-0 advantage. And of course, double 40 bombs from Hish and Hash.
Hey, listen, shout out to Ottawa, man. They came out with a vengeance. This is exactly what we wanted to see out of a squad that has found some struggles recently at the start of the season. They want to come out and really show that they can be a top dog, not to be messed with. And I mean, honestly, that match was so close. It came down to the wire. We talked about how back and forth it was. It really came down to that final push and whether or not they could break it. And hey, they just weren't able to at the end of the day.
Kind of the tail of the entire map. You know, it never felt like Queens Esports had that advantage. Ottawa was always kind of in the lead, and again, I kind of said before here, then it was just playing catch-up all the way throughout the entirety of the match. You know, although it was only, you know, 10, 15, 20, 25 seconds of time, that was where Ottawa had the advantage and the lead. It just never seemed like Queens Esports could overcome that barrier after the very beginning of the game. It was very evident on that last push. They just played discombobulated at the end and instead of trying to make one big push play. Well, guess why? Well, they had the play clock going against them. They had the time going against them. All they could do was just single file flood the hill over and over and over again off the spawn that allowed the side of uOttawa to get out, control the map, and well, the rest was history in game one. However, as I said beforehand though, Hish, 43, Slayer, 40, 31 and 32 non-traded kills between both of those players. That's good enough for 63 in total. And that simply just can't happen.
Yeah, and if you look on the other side, on the side of Queens, conceded down there 35 non-traded kills for his 42. Only 7 times did he get traded out. That is absolutely insane. But at the end of the day, Ottawa coming out on top. Slayer was able to catch up to Hish there at the end. He must have been going off for sure because Hish was doing literally God's work for his team. He was going insane, getting all the kill streaks. You see the sprees going in for this team. 6, 5, 8, and 3. They all had their time to shine, and that's what you want to see out of a squad. Just a well-rounded performance coming in for this Garnet team.
Coming into the game, too, we kind of talked and highlighted Hash for the side of uOttawa, knowing that in the big moments in the key games, Hash was kind of the player that wanted to, I guess, not only elevate his play style, but with the rest of the team around him, you create this sort of barrier that allows you to be able to win matches when Hash is playing well. Well, you give the rest of the team the opportunity to do just that on a map like Bakash, it's going to be great. But once again, we'll take a look at our maps. 250 to 217 if you are just joining us for map number 1. And of course, we'll go to a search and destroy here on Berlin. It's a double dosage in 2 and 3. And then, of course, Desert Siege in Bakash will be 4 and 5 a little bit later on. But again, we have to get there first. And, well, I just have a sneaking suspicion that we probably will. Queens Esports, again, they played that extremely close throughout the entirety of that game. And Search and Destroy has looked a little bit better for them than uOttawa Garnet. However, as I said beforehand, the biggest thing was that Queens Esports coming into this game, they had played relatively weaker opponents inside of their division thus far. And that's why I said that uOttawa had a very stellar and, well, pretty much I fancied their chances.
Yeah, I mean, uOttawa, we definitely said that anyone can win this matchup, so the fact that they were able to come in and win by this margin, I'm not really surprised. You know, I feel like the sky's the limit for this team. They just got to be able to put it together. They've had some time to practice, really go over things, VOD review, and it looks like they've come back even stronger, and that's exactly what you want to see out of a squad. We just got to see if they're going to be able to have that same impact in Search and Destroy, if they're going to be able to carry this over, carry this momentum into this Berlin. That's what I want to see from this squad.
Berlin, a map that plays usually over towards the A side, at least early on when you're trying to feel out your opponents. On the offensive side, you have 2 options, as is always, but over towards the B site, it is a little bit harder to get there, specifically with the snipers being in play. You hold down the entirety of that B lane all the way in the back with a sniper, well, it's going to look a lot like London docks when you're trying to run out over towards the dock side in order to get the bomb out and towards that shed. Usually you were able to find those first bloods, those first picks. We'll see if it goes ahead and maintains the same here over towards B, but that's a different story for an offense and defensive try. This time, though, on offense, it is going to look like it is a push. As you look over towards the train side, you got 2 players making that illustrious hit up and towards the top. Lucid doesn't want to push in just yet. Sue around the corner, and now it's going to be all 4 players from the side of Queens Esports making that push in. Goonsky will hop up. Ash finds the first blood. A trade instantaneously in a technical way. 3 versus 3 with 1:05.
Yeah, and this is what I love about this specific map, is that you get to see exactly how these teams feel like playing. This offensive side is conceded, is going to be the final player alive for this attacking squad. He's going to need to make an absolute incredible play happen, and I'm not sure that's going to be possible because Hash and Hish, they've got some pretty good positioning, but how I always feel with this map specifically, oh, unfortunate is he's not able to clean up the kill. I was going to say really quickly about this map, I feel like when you want to go toward A, your squad is about that action. If you feel like going to offense, you're really about that life. If you decide to go to B, you're trying to take the 3v1 on the one player that's going to be out there. You know, you're just trying to beat everyone to that street and take over and play for your spawn. So I feel like the squads that really are confident in themselves are confident in going A, and the ones that maybe feel a little bit less confident are just going to be heading outside over to B.
Conceded, sniper, looking over towards that B bomb. Unfortunately, though, he doesn't know that this is going to be a full A commit. It was out of uOttawa. Starting to make that push in towards A. You just have to play so aggressive if you are going to make an A hit work. You've got to be able to slide shell with at least 2 players. Find that first player who's just going to be playing ratty in a corner. There's so many little different cruddy spots and corners that you can hide inside of this A site that it makes it so difficult when you are trying to push on offense unless you get that first blood. Sue will back off for a bit. 43 HP. Just a bit weak. Doesn't know if anybody's going to be pushing up the staircase, but a Hish kill there onto Lucid, who was top fragging for the side of Queens. Esports will allow them at least a bit of entry in towards that A site with numbers. You still got player 5 all the way towards the back, so it's a 3 versus 2 over at A, and around the corner it is going to be Hish who spots out first. One comes inside the door, and while Goonsky will just get the timing, and of course the camera angle onto O. Bad. The bomb will go down. Now it's a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, and Goonsky's going to be able to get nice positioning for his squad. They're going to be able to see that bomb from a mile away. Conceded. You guys said in the chat, he makes the impossible possible. He's already picked up 2 in the 1v4. Will he be able to clutch it up the rest of the way?
Left side corner. Reload. Do you hear the audio cue? Answer, probably yes. But you're just going to be playing over towards the train side. Looking all the way in the back. You got to find Hash, you got to find Goonsky, and you only have 20 seconds to do that and get the defuse to go along with it. 15 seconds now for Conceded. You look out towards the back. You want to play over on the bomb as well. Maybe you try to play for the audio cue, but nobody's pushing you out just yet. You're going to lay down. They're going to go ahead and peek around the corner. You slide challenge. Maybe you try to bait them out and play for some streaks there. You do everything you could in a 1 versus 4. Unfortunately, it won't pay off. So 2 quick rounds of search and destroy go to the way to uOttawa. And once again, we're looking at a series where you can just go ahead and play off these adjustments after these first 2 rounds.
Yeah, beautiful start. You know, 1 defense, 1 offense. They're looking extremely clean right now as a squad. And, you know, now we got to see how they're going to be playing back on the defensive side. And I'm interested in Queens. Are they going to opt to go to B? You know, they've had 2 losing encounters in that A site, 1 on offense and 1 on defense. Let's see if they're going to be opening things up. And it looks like that is going to be the case. As you can see, Lucid and Sue, they're going to be playing this B side far as the lone player in Conceded. He's going to be watching that flank.
And towards the B building, you're not going to spot the player in towards the window, though. However, you get some bad timing there. And Lucid walks away with the gunfight win. So, Queens Esports, a round that they really need here to make it at least a 1-2 and stop the bleeding for a bit of time. You get the first blood, you get the bomb down. Now it's 35 seconds left. You can play all the way in the back of your spawn, and you can see them in the post-play and setup. That's exactly what they're going to do. Conceded in the middle map, Hish will fall, Slayer will get the trade, but it's still 3 versus 2 with 25 seconds left. Goonsky just waiting to push on out. They don't know Lucid's on the site, and of course, Sue's playing back in towards the shed.
Yeah, yet again, 15 seconds remaining. Nice kill coming in from Goonsky. Now the question is, oh, hey man, this one's going to be hard to stretch. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to. Goonsky's trying to. Is he going to be able to get it? Nade coming in. It's going to get him 1 HP. No! Oh my goodness, so close. That was almost insane.
That was so much closer than that even needed to be. You get the bomb in the perfect plant spot that you wanted, and then you can finally get back over towards the B shed. But that nade tried to come through. You don't get that initially. You're just happy because, well, if you would have been able to see how close that bomb was to being defused, he probably would have had a little bit of a drizzle running down his leg. So, yeah. 2-1 now. uOttawa, they lose their first round here in the S&D, but it's not the end of the world. They have the bomb. They're going to be working this over towards B. That much is obvious already. Conceded with the sniper all the way back. That first shot whizzes by the head of Goonsky. We'll play the angle not only on the tank to get across to the site, but we'll get this bomb down. So, no first pick with a sniper just yet. 45 seconds, and yet again, time restriction on Queens Esports.
Yeah, and they got that bomb down with really no pressure coming in from the defensive side. The defense was really just in a cone, and they were ready for this retake, so they must be confident in it. And anytime you are confident in a retake, I mean, it's got to be flawless, especially at B when you know that they're going to be planting for their spawn. 2 players going to be coming in. That's going to be a massive first blood now. This could be the flank of the century coming in from Hash. He's going to be picking up 2, shooting them in their spines. It's over for them. This might be a squad that is going to be able to be victorious. Garnet only needing 1 more kill.
A flank, and yet another flank to go ahead and pair up with it. 4 seconds left. Lucy, you might just want to get out of there and not get killed by that bomb blowing up. That's exactly what you'll do. You'll back off away, hash around the corner. You won't be able to find the kill there. The round will end just in time. So you don't feed unnecessary kills for potential streaks, but you do give another round win to the side of uOttawa. So as Garnet find themselves with another round win, 3-1 the advantage. The Search and Destroy looking to be all theirs thus far. However, it doesn't spell the end of the series if they are able to take the S&D. Map number 1 was extremely close. I'm assuming that the S&D is going to end in the same fashion. This one's not over just yet. Just because uOttawa has been playing great early on doesn't mean that Queens Esports isn't going to be able to make a few key adjustments and find themselves with a few couple of round wins string together.
Yeah, and one thing that I do want to point out is that this squad in Ottawa, they are 2-0 in offenses, 1 time at A, 1 time at B. Queens, they're 0-1 at A and 1-0 at B. So let's see as they got the bomb down at B yet again. But Hash is in position. Hash gets sniffed out by Stu. What a massive first blood that is. And now they have prime positioning. No excuses to lose this one.
Especially with Conceited making a flank all the way through the A site. Getting back behind a few players coming through. I mean, this is just a round in paradise if you're Queens Esports. But as the push comes in through middle map from uOttawa, Garnet look to go ahead and collapse on the site. You find a kill there, but will it be enough? The answer simply right now is no. Pistol won't be there. Goonski in a 1 versus 2, just not enough time to get these kills, and of course the defuse to go along with it. So as I said, I didn't foresee that being a round where it was going to be 4-1 for uOttawa. Queens Esports will clutch up, hold themselves steady in the S&D, and once again get it to a position where they're only down by 1 round.
Yeah, so right now, this squad 2-0 at the B bomb site, and this is what I'm saying. The B bomb site has been considered to be the easier one to get rounds on the offensive side, so I'm pretty sure Queens are going to keep on doing that rinse, wash, and repeat. Now, will they be going back to that B side, or are they going to be switching things up because they already found success at A? Looks like no. B is just going to be the favored bomb site in this game, and hey, I'm all for it. I love how these rounds are ending right now.
Another first blood to the side of Queens Esport. However, Conceited will be traded out. That's the sniper off the board. It's your man that was playing all those long angles over towards the B site, and that is going to allow that B bomb to go down. Hash playing very sneaky up and towards the top of the building. Lucid knows that there's going to be a player at least somewhere in the loom. As you try to hop up the staircase, the good timing from Hash. 7-2 here in the Search and Destroy leads the way for the side of uOttawa. 3 versus 1 with Stu trying. Got a lot of time to work with, 30 seconds left, but you got to get all the way back to the player who's playing so far deep in spawn with, once again, the bomb planted for a situation where they can just play all the way back.
Yeah, so rough, but he has... No, he has a stun. Thought he might add a smoke. Thought he was going for the insane play with the defuse through the smoke, but no, that's not going to be the case. And yeah, they're going to be able to understand he's in there. He's 1 HP, and player's going to sniff him out, take him out. Ottawa able to win that one, and that was a much-needed round win, yet again, coming through on the offensive side. So Ottawa, they're undefeated in offensive rounds right now, and they just need to keep up this momentum against this squad.
S&D, bread and butter for uOttawa thus far? Yeah, potentially. The 4-2 advantage right now. Again, Hash leading the way. Hish on 2 in a row. 3 more kills would be for potential streaks. We'll save that conversation point for when we eventually, well, I shouldn't say eventually, I should say potentially get there. Lucid hops out over towards B, going to be the first one up. Bomb hasn't worked its way over towards the site just yet, but now it will. They'll slide in towards the site. They look out to the dock to see if anybody's going to be making that push, and well, that would be correct. There's going to be the first one there. They trade it out together. Unfortunately, isn't able enough, or so bad in the situation, but 2. You try for a trade, the answer is yes. Goonski across the map. This is a huge round win here, and a 1 versus 2 if Stu can go ahead and get it. Has gotten stuck on that window ledge so many times.
Yeah, and this could be a situation where he's going to be able to clutch up. Did he just dip out of there? This could be massive, and he's going to be able to pick up 1, not able to pick up the second, and Garnet able to pick up yet another win, and now they are on game point, 5-2 advantage coming out of this squad. They are playing absolutely immaculate, I have to say, on this defensive side, able to pick up a massive round, stopping this B push. That was the first unsuccessful B push coming out of this squad in Queens Esports, so beautiful plays, being able to shut them down. Now, how will Ottawa try to finish this one out, B or A?
Answer, A. Easy.
There
They've
it
had
is.
success there pretty much every single time. They want to switch it up a bit since they've gone B a few times in a row. First player is going to be Obad, playing around the bomb head glitch. Gonna pop up in a few panels. Try to get a few peek angles maybe to use to your advantage. You slide in through both of the doors. Obad, though, this time after getting absolutely jebaited a couple of rounds ago. We'll go ahead and wait for the player to push on in. Plays the further back angle so you don't get cameraed to high hell and back. Hash and Hish will both go for 2. Unfortunately, you can't sprint through that door directly right there. Lucid, a 1 versus 3 to go ahead and keep the search and destroy alive. Unfortunately, though, they read it perfectly up the staircase from the back. uOttawa will take a 2-0 lead in the series. And once again, we're trending in a direction to where, unfortunately, it could be a 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, and right now, Ottawa, they just look like the more composed team. It looked like Queens Esports. They just look a little discombobulated right now. And, I mean, honestly, this squad in Queens Esports, it is a group of all sophomores. All 4 players are sophomores. So, a lot of younger players on this team, while on the other side, Slayer is a senior, Hash is a junior. So, they've got a little bit more veteranship on that side coming out of Ottawa, and it might be paying off here. And, man, I got to be honest, this squad right here, they looked absolutely incredible. They played incredible. Ottawa right now really, really impressing me.
They're impressing me as well. And a little bit earlier on inside of today, too. Obviously, this is both teams' second match of today. uOttawa a little bit earlier on, and so they actually took a 3-1 win over Ryerson. Now, that's noteworthy for a multitude of reasons, but we can talk about that a little bit more after we take a breakdown of the stats from this game. And, well, it should be no surprise to anybody. Hash leading the way for uOttawa once again, 10-4 overall, 1,400 damage. You look at that, 7 non-traded kills, of course, 4 first bloods for Hash as well instead of the search and destroy. So, overall, uOttawa, again, another really strong map out of them. They show their prowess in search and destroy in map 2 after a very closely contested Bacage map number 1. Either way, though, Slang has been leading the way. The team plays have been quite nice from uOttawa as well. This is a team I'm going to be looking closer and closer to over the course of the season to see how they develop.
Oh, yes, for sure. And, right now, they're Search and Destroy looked absolutely flawless. They looked like they knew exactly how they wanted to play on offense. They did not drop one offensive round, ladies and gentlemen, on Berlin. That is much easier said than done, let me tell you. So shout out to Ottawa for being able to really execute their plan that you can see they've clearly practiced, clearly coordinated, and they just did an incredible job right there in showing you guys how to play S&D Berlin on the offensive side, only dropping 2 rounds on defense, 6-2 overall. They looked absolutely incredible.
They looked good, but for Queens Esports, the question now lies on you. Are you going to be able to find yourself inside of this best of 5 series? Will you be able to start the reverse sweep in map number 3? We'll just have to find out. It's going to be map number 3 for Berlin once again. We'll find that for a respawn, though, going back to Hardpoint, but take a quick break here before we get into map number 3. Is it the end of the series? Well, we'll just have to find out. Stay tuned. Alpha stream going on at the same time. I'm Cormiel. That's Rome. We'll be back in just a minute. Not as close of a map number 2, but we go into map number 3, hoping that this series potentially could go a little bit further, or maybe we'll see uOttawa close things out in a 3-0 fashion. My name is McCormiel. With me is Rome, and we'll go ahead and take a look at our map set real quick. Bacage in Berlin, 250, 217, and a 6-2 S&D leads us to a hard point on Berlin. Rome, talk to me a little bit about this matchup so far. What has surprised you about uOttawa thus far?
I mean, honestly, uOttawa, that search and destroy is what really impressed me. The bow cage, it is what it is. We saw the teams battle it out. It was a close one. I'm not sure that that's going to be the same story here on Berlin. I think that the same way that we saw Ottawa be able to dominate that search and destroy, I think they're going to be able to carry this over to the same map in a different mode in Hardpoint. I think that they're going to be good to go. I think that they're going to take this one convincingly over this Queen squad. I think the Garnet are really going to come in here and look for a convincing win after already taking the win earlier in the day.
The theme in map number 1 was Queens Esports playing catch-up consistently on the side of uOttawa throughout the entirety of Bacage. And of course, as I said beforehand, not only do we have this map going on here on our Bravo stream, but we have our Alpha stream going on at the same time. And right now, Rutgers Esports, they're up 2-0 in the series. The hard point has started between both of those two teams as well. But as we focus our attention here on Bravo for what could be the final map, not only of the stream, but of week 2 on the Bravo stream, this is really where things get down to the nitty-gritty. If you're the side of Ottawa, fantastic. You've got a 2-0 lead right now against Queens Esports. one of the teams that you kind of are looking at as an opponent that you need to be able to beat in order to not only vault yourself up the standings, but of course it could be kind of like we saw in the last match, one of those things where you're duking it out with this team later on in the season for even a potential playoff spot, and having that head-to-head advantage over them would be crucial at this stage.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what these squads are looking for. Anytime a tiebreaker situation comes up, you want to be able to look back at the schedule and say, you know what, we got that one over you. Simple as that. And, down 2-0 in this series, I want to see if this squad in Queens Esports are going to be able to keep composed and start to mount a comeback. Like I said before, it is a squad full of sophomores, so a lot of young talent. But anytime that you have young talent like this, it can be really hard on your mental as a squad when you're down 2-0, especially when you get manhandled in the search and destroy as badly as you did. So I want to see if this Queens Esports squad are going to be able to turn things around, be a little bit more fortuitous on this map of Berlin Hardpoint. This is where you got to come out, you got to show what you're made of, you got to play like your seniors. Don't be worrying about just being one of the freshies or softies on the campus. You got to come out swinging.
Ash, Goonski, first two, looking to push up in towards point one. Right now, though, Queens Esports, they've gotten themselves on the here early on. Slayer will hop in around the corner. Lucid and Sue will go ahead and tag team for yet another unfortunate team kill there, but really all the damage has already been done. You've gotten the majority of kills around the point. Hish is just going to have to back off for a moment, wait for the reinforcements to come through, and with 25 seconds left on the point, Queens Esports, they've done a nice job of being able to rack up time early on.
Yeah, doing a great job for sure. As you can already see, this player number 7 in Obad for Queens, he is going to be trying to rotate and get these spawns. He is able to pick up a kill as well, as they are able to get 4 down. Only 1 kill so far coming in for Garnet. So this is exactly what we're talking about. We want to see these young squads stay composed and be all right and start this early game very, very nicely, which is exactly what they've done, having a 30-point lead during B2.
Conceded with 2, Goonski will fly in around the corner. However, it will be the side of Queens Esports that once again will have themselves the early time in a hard point. 5 in a row for Conceded. Glide Bomb to go ahead and have in the back pocket. As you look to the player who's going to be trying to push on in. Slayer gets the big kill there onto Lucid. Unfortunately, though, it is going to be Sue and Obad who are going to fly on back into the point. 4 down in the kill feed. Queens Esports, they've done exactly what they need to do thus far inside of map number 3 to give them a chance in this series. It's been slay out and find the success in the first 2 hard points.
Yeah, and it looks like Queens Esports is saying who is going to be able to come out and get the clear victory. Not going to be Garnet, as Rome predicted. No, no, no. They're trying to end that right here. They already have a 60-point lead and counting. This is massive for this squad in Queens. If they're going to be able to get out to maybe a 100-point lead at this point, it's looking like it might get there the way they've been able to slay out. I mean, honestly, the sky's the limit for this squad in this map. Can he get the 2-piece? Yes. Beautiful plays coming in from him. Now Garnet, they might be able to start to mount this comeback right here.
That was big. You're going to get the close spawns in the back, so reinforcements will be there in double speed. uOttawa, who just really hasn't been able to keep up in terms of slaying this game so far, are going to be able to keep the side of Queens Esports out, at least for the time. Hish will play from the back. You get the player over by the docks, at least for the time being. But look who's coming from behind. Obad on a big flank all the way around through the back. Slayer's going to be there, but that's going to be spawns for the side of Queens Esports. Now, the big question is, with 25 seconds left, do you want those spawns in the back when you have to rotate all the way back across the map for P4? The answer simply is no, but 15 seconds of time is going to put you past that 200-point marker. It's going to get you just 100-point mark, or it's just going to get you about there. And if you're the side of uOttawa, all you're really worried about now is making sure you win this rotation. But you got 3 players who are pushing through the north side of the map. It's a 4 versus 3. You should come out on top here.
And it's going to be Sue going up against Goonski on the backside. At least it should be. Sue is taking his time on this flank. He's waiting for his teammates to get up, but that's going to be a problem because Hash is wreaking havoc in the middle right now. He picked up 2. He is going insane. This is what you want from your Slayer. You want him to be able to really disrupt this squad while they're trying to push in and contest this hill. And this is exactly how the Ottawa squad are going to be able to start to mount this comeback.
Even to build off of that point, your Slayer is going to be the one that ignites the spark for your team to find their way back into this game. Right now, you're still down by over a hill of time to the opponents, and you're trying to close this series out in a 3-0 fashion. It was a great rotation. You won the majority of kills that you needed in order to spawn yourselves back over by P4, but you don't really get the time to show for it at the exact same junction. So, 10 seconds left on the point. uOttawa, they're there, but Queens Esports, they're going to get the scrap time. Now you got to rotate through the middle of them. Oh, you got to win that gunfight.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate to say the least, for sure. This Queen squad, though, they've mounted a very sizable lead, 50 points. This is a much larger lead than anything that we saw in the first hard point. So you want to see a squad like this start to pop off. This is exactly what you want. Great rotations, great trades, great team play. You can tell the communication is definitely on point with this squad, as he is trying to just lock it down with this automaton, able to put in some nice shots as well. Ottawa, they're trying to lock this hill down as best they can, get in time, but Queens are doing a great job of contesting.
4 HP for Hash will leave him dead to the dirt. 123 to 69. You find yourselves pushing back across the map. Will you be able to get to the point, though, in time for a contestation in these last 20 seconds? Will you try to find yourselves the rotation to P1 right now? Queens Esports, not only do they hold down the scrap time, but they hold down the entire left portion of the map. Side of you, Ottawa, they haven't even got past the 50% mark in the map. So with no presence pushed over towards P1, 5 seconds of scrap time. Ooh, woo, fantastic. That's fantastic. That's great, and it's awesome. But you're still down by 70 points. You're doubled up on the side by Queens Esports, and they're looking to go ahead and capitalize even further. More and more, where this is looking like a game that's going to be pushing towards the Desert Siege in map 4.
Oh yeah, totally is right now. They've more than doubled their points right now. Queens Esports looking absolutely incredible, but Sue, somebody in chat says he's the best AR in the game. He's trying to show it right now. Best AR in the North, to quote. 17 and 8 coming out of him. 15 and 10 for Lucid, as they're going to be picking up a ton of kills in the kill feed. Lucid's on a 3 spree. Can he get one more for the glide bomb? 4 conceded. You see he's only 1 away. That's going to be it. Glide bomb is going to be achieved shortly. Here we go. Back to Sue now, as he's got the strafing run as well. My goodness, this squad is on a roll right now.
Another situation where uOttawa playing for scrap time back over towards P1, the P2 rotation. Right now, owned by the side of Queens Esports, but if Ash has anything to say about it, you'll find one, you'll find potentially two, but it is going to be the flank that is coming from behind. He's on the staircase for now. Nade over the top, going to force one to back all the way off in the corner. You don't realize they're playing there. 2 kills in the way of Red. Now back to the side of uOttawa. You try to push in, but unfortunately it's just not going to be enough unless Ish has really any inkling of an imagination for himself, and he doesn't. So 187 to 87, a 100-point lead for Queens Esports. It's been clinical here on Berlin. uOttawa had a situation where they could close out the series in a 3-0 fashion. However, even just at the very beginning of this game, after P1, it was all downhill. They had a couple of moments where they came back with just a bit, but overall, it's been a very dominating performance from Queens Esports.
Yeah, this lead looks like it's going nowhere, especially with Obad locking it down. 19 and 10, trying to make it 20. Not going to be able to happen, as this scrap time, yet again, more scrap time. Going to be going to the side of Garnet, but they are already down over 100. Ladies and gentlemen, this one has gotten out of hand so quickly. We're going to need to see almost perfect play coming out of Garnet if they want to make a comeback in this one. But this Queen squad, they are looking absolutely untouchable, as they're going to be locking this down yet again, not letting anyone get into the lobby. This one is looking very grim for Ottawa.
The Golden Gales, 30 seconds is all you need to force a map number 4, go to Desert Siege, and have new life and rebirth inside of this best of 5. Once again, uOttawa up 2-0 thus far. Down by 123 seconds. Sure, you're getting some hill time here, and nice. You've held down this hard point for about the most time that you've been able to get at one point inside of the hard point so far. Unfortunately, it's just a little too late. And sure, if you're Queens Esports, you can't win off of this hill, but you can get damn close. We see the rotation's going to be coming in here in just a moment. Last time it was uOttawa who was able to get out and rotate early. Queens Esports, though, they were able to break with about 30 seconds in towards the point. So as we get ready for the setup and the break, of course, but you got to look to uOttawa. Even though they're set up on the rotation, here come the red arrows all pushing together.
And you know, you talked about it. If Ash has a bad game, this squad definitely struggles, and he's sitting at 15 and 13. But not just that, Slayer, currently 9 and 18, double negative. And I mean, if your name's going to be Slayer, you got to be slaying out. And that is just not the case in this hard point right now, as they're pretty much down by 90. And I mean, they're starting to make this comeback right here, but they need to really rack up these points and start really outslaying this squad, because that is where they have been struggling this entire map.
Seated around the corner. You got to push back over towards the point right now. uOttawa trying to break from the outside in. Queens Esports, they're almost at a point where they're not going to be able to win off of this hard point yet again. So, I mean, if you're uOttawa, sure, you get the job done. You do what you needed to do. You hold them from not being able to win off of this hill and maybe find yourself some scrap time. Look to player number 2, though. Hash could be making a big play through middle map. You could potentially be getting behind one. A couple more players starting to make their way in towards middle map as well. But as player number 4 and Goonski can't find the shots, they're on to player number 8 and Conceded. Conceded will find yet another kill, make that 2 in a row. Everybody falling. That should be the final domino needed, at least for right now, to get 5, maybe 10 seconds of time here early on, and of course to close out the game following suit.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to be fine with contesting it. For the most part, Queens able to pick up 3 right there. This is going to be some great time for them, but we know how quickly these players can spawn up and contest. But 2 more kills going to be going the way of Ottawa yet again. Man, and Queens, they're holding true, though, not letting it deter them, as they are going to be getting so many points, only 6 points away now from securing victory.
Bad up the staircase, 3 in a row here for the side of uOttawa. We saw a crazy comeback earlier on Berlin. Unfortunately, though, I just don't think the circumstances are correct for another crazy comeback unless we see one of the most miraculous groups and stretches of sprees from a team in history of hardpoint. 6 seconds left. That's all the side of uOttawa needed to lose this game. And they just tried to set up for the rotation. Sure, you're at 248. You got player 8 all the way across the map. Conceded's going to be there, but all it's going to take is 2 seconds from Queens Esports. There's been many times where they should have already closed this game out. So, is it surprising that we've gone on this long? Absolutely, but I mean, you hold them out of this hill for long, it's going to be great, but here it comes. The final break is in. Queens Esports will live to see another map. It was a 2-map deficit. Now it's a 2-1 hold that they got to climb out of, but the reverse sweep has started. 250 to 182. Map 3 goes their way. We're going to see a Desert Siege.
Yeah, and this young squad, they are really showing that they've got that ice in their veins. Not only just their veins, but also in their mentals. They're really able to come out here and stay composed and take this hard point in the face of adversity. This is exactly what you want to see out of a squad down 2-0 in the series. And hey, now we're going to another hard point, and this time it's going to be on Desert Siege. Is this squad going to be able to keep this momentum going, or do you think finally this squad in Ottawa are going to be able to make a little bit of momentum swing here and take this one in Game 4?
Here's the thing, right? For Queens Esports, you come into this with a better hardpoint record overall. You get a better differential overall as well. Just looking back on some of the notes we had prepped for this broadcast, 66 hardpoint differential in the negative side of things for the side of University of Ottawa. So already you're looking at that, you're saying, okay, well they've lost a substantial amount of hard points. They were 1-4 overall inside of the mode, and then they go into a Bocage map number 1 where it looked closely contested, but it was seemingly the side of U of Ottawa that was ahead every single time. It was Queens Esports playing catch-up. This map was completely different. This was a different hardpoint in entirety for Queens Esports. The roster looked completely rejuvenated. I don't know what happened between maps 2 and 3, and did that little break have a mental reset for them? And they said, we're just going to turn this series around and try to reverse sweep. I have no clue, but as we take a look at the statistics here, 26 and 17 from Conceded. I mean, you have 26 for 3 players on uOttawa, and then one more player who had 27. So slaying was the name of the game there. Quite obviously. It doesn't take a genius to see that. But for Queens Esports, you go into another map for another hard point where now overall in the mode you're 2-5. Are you confident against uOttawa for map number 1? I mean, yeah. But at the same time, now that Queens has the advantage here, what are we looking to see?
I mean, with Queens coming up big right here, they're definitely going to have the momentum in their favor, even though they're down 2-1 in the series. And the thing about Ottawa is they might feel very comfortable taking it to that final Bocage Map 5 S&D. You know, they hang their hat in S&D. At least they say they do. So anytime you tell squads that you're an S&D team, you do not want to, you know, the other squad is not going to want to go to Map 5 with you. But, I mean, Queens Esports, they don't really have an option right now. They're going to have to win that final Bocage S&D if they want to win this series. But next up is that Desert Siege hardpoint, and I want to see, this is one that a lot of squads just have not practiced as much. I want to see if they're going to be able to come here and find success against this Ottawa squad yet again.
I feel like this is one of those sneaky map picks that you put in there just in case you need to go to a map number 4 and you're like, okay, well, overall, what map can we go ahead and find for a swing map for ourselves that we practice probably more than any other team or we feel more comfortable on? And depending on who was the one who vetoed for this map, I mean, congratulations, you get that map pick. Was it Queens Esports? Was it the side of uOttawa? We'll just have to wait and find out. I mean, really, it's all going to depend who comes out on top of this. Because again, Queens Esports, you're looking for the reverse sweep. Awesome. But uOttawa, with the 2-1 advantage, you should be able to close it out here in map number 4. The win condition here in the series early on from what we were talking about just at the very top of the show is just make sure you lock up hard points against Queens' respawn roster. I mean, for Queens, it did seem like they were a little stronger in respawn overall, but when you won that S&D in map number 2 and you have that 2-0 advantage, even if this does go to a map number 5 on Bocage, I still feel confident for uOttawa overall in this series. Again, Queens Esports, yeah, you come into this with a decent schedule and a decent roster already, but it hasn't been necessarily the strength that I want to see out of them in terms of their opponents to really kind of put themselves as a shining star above some of these other teams. So again, big game for uOttawa as they played a little bit of harder conference opponents. And of course, they just beat Ryerson 3-1.
Yeah, for sure. And that is major for this squad. You know, they're definitely looking to end at the top of their pool when it's all said and done. And I mean, this squad has every capability of doing so, but I want to see if they're going to be able to close it out here, because I'm sure they aren't going to be fine with a 3-2 win. They don't want to come out of this feeling like S&D is their crutch. They want to be able to say, listen, we are good at hardpoint as well. And now we are going to be going to Desert Siege. This map is beautiful. You can see it loading in. This one is about to get crazy.
uOttawa, I really hope you guys can close this one out here. Just for your sakes, you don't want to go to a search and destroy against the Queens Esports roster that has all the momentum in the world. But unfortunately, I just don't see that happening right now after that last map. It was a chaotic map number 1 that uOttawa was able to take advantage of. But when Queens Esports was able to set down, settle up a little bit, be able to go ahead and take advantage of the map and the positioning, the opponents were just giving to them almost freely every single time. It just seemed like it was going to be their maps to win. Already, though, Oh Bad will open things up. Concede will find the second kill. Point number 1, going to be set up all the way towards the south side of the map. A lot of people probably haven't seen Desert Siege Hardpoint being played a good amount, so this is going to be a learning curve for a lot of people at home.
Oh, yes, for sure. And as you can see, a nice setup early in, coming in for the side of Queens. But that early pressure is going to be flipped as the spawns did change completely. And Ottawa Garnet, they're going to be able to find some early success on this hill. 20 seconds left. They'll be able to convert it, most likely all of it, into their side. And you can see already, player 6, player 2, they're rotating around trying to get these spawns. But it is going to be the side of Queens Esports that are going to be controlling these spawns for this P2.
Point 2 about to pop, trying to make your way up that south portion of the mini-map, but as Queens Esports will go ahead and set up themselves in the middle of the map, should be good enough to at least cut off a few power positions, and of course find yourselves maybe a kill or 2 across the map as uOttawa starts to make their push forward. Conceded will be the first one to knock a domino down. And as from behind, Goonsky will fall to the hands of Oh Bad. You had a lot of position in middle map. You had a lot of cross angles that you could watch as a team. And once again, you find every single player except for Hish will stay alive. The reinforcements have to come through. There hasn't really been a pinch play set up just yet.
Yeah, and you can tell by the way that this Queen squad is playing this that they've definitely practiced this map before. They've practiced hardpoint on this specific one. Yes, it is newer to a lot of players, a lot of teams, but I mean, listen, if you've put in that time, if you've put in that work, it's definitely going to be showing. And I mean, right now, it most definitely is they're going to be able to keep this thing tied up. It's pretty much a dead even game right now. This is going to be most likely looking like a little bit like that Bocage that we did see in that map number 1.
P3 popped. First team there going to be the side of uOttawa, holding it down from the top of the building. Still going to be the first one to go ahead and challenge for position inside of the middle of the map. Lucid now making a play from down below. Shots are going to be good for 1. You hop up towards the top of the building. Might be able to get something. Able to play around the corners just for a bit of time, but the kill feed will bleed red for 3 straight. Hish will find 2. And again, as we kind of talked about beforehand, when it came to hard points in general for uOttawa, it was Hish and Hash that were really the 2 main slay factors of the team, and we're putting them above and beyond their opponents every single time. However, that last map, we didn't see that same slaying presence. We didn't see Hash being the mainstay reason that uOttawa was finding some of their success. And when Hash isn't playing well, one of the things that we kind of noted at the top of the stream is that overall, uOttawa just doesn't play well as a unit. It just kind of rallies behind Hash, and once that happens, well, they look scary. If that doesn't happen, though, it's kind of what we saw with E United at times back inside of Black Ops 4, where if Brasini wasn't having that great of a map, it was kind of just that torch factor that just didn't allow them to really get things kickstarted.
Yeah, as right now they have got a nice lead coming out 34, 35 and counting, and they've got control of the spawns. This is exactly what you want to see if you're a fan of Ottawa. As right now they are locking it down, trying to not let this Queens Esports squad get any momentum. You said that this squad goes by Hash. He's currently double negative 5 and 11, but I mean the way that his squad is playing, they are playing it to a T. So guess what? I guess he's doing his job for the squad. Doesn't have any objective time either. He's working on slaying, but it's just way easier said than done against this Queen squad. But if they're playing the map right, playing these hills, you're going to be able to come out victorious. And right now, they've doubled up their points. Nice two-piece coming out of Goonski right there. And those are the type of plays that you need to make to keep these hills locked down.
Mental reset here, just for a bit of time. Middle of the map held down by Queens. Nice kills coming through. We look to Sue on 2 in a row. On everybody else now making the push from the north side of the map. You see Obad popping out over towards the right. You do have a glide bomb and a strafe run to go ahead and use as well, the exact same junction if you are Obad. As you look to everybody else trying to make the push in towards the middle of the building, you've done a great job of locking this down, at least for the beginning of time. Goonski now looking over towards the left, up the staircase. You just got everybody collapsing here. If you are the side of Queens, nobody has died here in just a bit of time. Of course, they have to caster curse that. Hash will be the first one in. Sue will get traded out instantaneously. It is going to be the side of uOttawa once again finding themselves inside of a hard point after a break for the last 25 seconds of time.
Yeah, and once we move back to that P1, you'll most likely see the streaks from Obad coming in. An interesting note, Obad, he started off the game 6-0, and since he has been 3-10, so yes, he does have those streaks in his back pocket. Lucid just absolutely did him dirty with the pistol. That cannot happen. Lucid going massive inside the hill, trying to let this Queen squad come back, but not if Goonski's got anything to say about it. As you can see, we've already rotated out to P1. Guess what, Queens? They have control of the hill, so no need to call in these streaks just yet.
Last time it was uOttawa. Well, down point one, pretty much in its entirety. We were able to get a nice little lead for themselves early on inside of the game. After that fact, though, it was Queens who had rotated to P2. A good break from Ottawa was good enough to find themselves inside for time. Slayer from behind, though. They'll go ahead and find themselves the right half portion of the map. That should be enough for P1 time, but you'd love to see someone start making their way over toward the point, and that'll be player number 7 in Hish. So, you're locking down some time, 25 seconds left. Nobody from Queens is going to get over aggressive and find their way back over towards the point. That would just be silly. Sue and Lucid will double for 2. The player inside of the point who was trying to go and play for all the scrap time will actually fall. So you maybe get 8 seconds here, maybe 5 as you start pushing back up the map. But Queens Esports, they done what they did, and they done what they could have done. And that's just hold uOttawa outside of that point. You damage, limitate. Now you got yourselves P2 pop.
Yeah, right now Sue and Slayer both sitting at 17 and 13, leading their respective squads. So you can see Obad, he's shucking and jiving, dipping and dodging. He's going to be able to pick up one. Not able to take out the second, though. Thought that might have been a nice little streak coming out of him. Goonski, he's on a 2 streak of his own. He's going to be in this hill, locking it down at this tank, just trying to hold on for dear life. This could be such a hard hill to keep control of simply because there are just such a lack of places to be able to hide behind, and he is going to be able to pick up one. Ottawa, Garnet, they're doing a great job right now of keeping these rotations and locking this hill down. This entire kill feed has been red for quite a long time.
A series that could have potential implications later off in the season. 2 teams who are looking to be playoff worthy, or at least playoff notable, come later on in the year. Thus far, though, uOttawa has looked like the stronger team in 3 out of the 4 maps. And of course, Berlin Hardpoint didn't go their way. That's great. But now as they go ahead and find themselves 180 to 115, they're trying to close this series out in 4 games, not have to put themselves in a position to where they have to win a search and destroy in map number 5. And although overall S&D for uOttawa has looked better than Queens Esports, you don't want to have to be in that position in the first place. 40 seconds left on the point. Tons of time for Queens Esports, so go ahead and rack up here. If you find the lion's share of time, you're right back in this game, and then all that's going to need to come after that fact is finding yourselves a rotation, getting this game back to dead even, well, and then of course winning the game, which is obviously very, very blatant for anybody that is keeping up with a hard point.
Yeah, and Slayer, you know, we talked about it last map. He was double negative at a time, but this map, he said, you know what, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. 25 and 17 for his squad. He's got 9 more than anyone else on his team. Slayer is doing it all right now for this team. And Ottawa right now with a solid lead, 31 points, as they do have the rotations yet again. This squad is looking dangerously close, only 60 points away from securing victory.
Nade out over the top. You look to find those couple of players out and towards the train, and Hash will do a great job picking off that first player. You know a couple are going to be pushing in through the windows. A nice trade there. The second one out towards the left side corridor. You got 3 in a row over towards the window, looking for number 4. You should have the rest of the help from the teammates, but the reinforcements are here if you are Queens Esports. You're pushing through the front door. Hash will be good for 4 in a row. Ish now trying to go ahead and find one in the way of pistols. 2 around the corner might have just saved the game here for Queens Esports thus far. Getting that kill inside of the point, and of course finding that second one to tag along with it allows everybody else to start pushing up the map, but then limitates how much the side of Ottawa is going to be able to get in scrap time. Either way, though, with these last 10 seconds of time being big, everybody dies off of that point. Queens Esports, they had a ton of time held down on this hill the last time it was popped. But unfortunately now, they're in a position where they've got to score about 80 points to even see the light of day.
Yeah, right now, Ottawa, they've set themselves up for success for sure. It's just going to be all about putting that nail in the coffin. And right now, Queens, they were able to get quite a few down, so they're going to be getting some nice time to build this comeback right now. They find themselves down 40 points. This is definitely doable. We've seen crazier today.
4 in a row from conceded. Finally falls in the backhand of a couple nice play shots from Hash. And as Slayer and Goonsky try to break into the point, they'll do just that. 25 seconds. You'll get yourselves the win, not only inside of the hard point, but in the series overall. Up the staircase, here comes conceded. Pre-aim, perfect. Glide bomb, not going to be able to find the kill, but peppers one up. Team kill from a nade, now up the staircase. You got 3 players pushing in. It's going to be on the Goonsky to find one. You get the first, but you can't find the rest. Rest of the scrap time will go to the side of Queens Esports, but that allows the side of uOttawa to start making their way out towards the rotation. They want to get as much time as they can here for the scraps down in towards P1. A couple of kills go the way to Ottawa. Now 14 seconds will get them the win. They don't have the rotation, though.
Yeah, and that is the one thing, is that I would think that they would fight early for these rotations, understanding how open this map is and how hard it is to really contest it. But Ottawa able to get 3 down. They're going to be getting early control of it regardless, and this might be it. This is going to be the last push coming in from Queens to possibly break this hill.
You push the middle of the map, you get everybody pushed across. Nobody there from Queens Esports. The reinforcements won't get there in time. We'll see the trees wave in the background, and we'll wave goodbye to the side of Queens, as Ottawa will go ahead and close the series out in a 3-1 fashion. A great way to kick off, or rather end, the entirety of Week 2. If you are Ottawa, guess what? You win 2 matches on the day. You beat Ryerson, you beat Queens Esports, 2 teams that, again, you'll probably have to see later on in the year when you're going and talking about playoffs. So, job done. Congratulations to the side of uOttawa. You played a great day today. 2 3-1 series wins. You got to be feeling good after you started the season relatively rough with an 0-2 start.
Yeah, I mean, props to this Ottawa squad. You know, that's the thing that you want to see, is going into week 1, you want to see exactly just where you're at. And then in week 2, it's all about how you can adjust and where you can improve. And that's exactly what we saw this Ottawa squad do. They simply applied what they learned from their losses into today, and they came out victorious in 3-1 fashion, winning it decisively. All but one map really looked out of sync for them, and that was that Berlin hardpoint. So if they just clean up that map, I'm sure that they're going to be looking very, very solid.
You clean up one map, it's going to help out the rest of your hard points as well. And of course, with Control coming in soon, you're not going to really have to worry all that much, I guess, about making sure every single hard point map is that polished. You can veto some of the ones out that you don't necessarily want to play. But at the same time, let's go ahead and take a look at our match stats from this last series, or rather this last game on Desert Siege. The hard point, again, went the way of uOttawa. But as we take a look there, 27 non-traded kills on Slayer. And that's quite literally 6 kills that just remain. So out of the
he dropped
3 kills, you only traded 6 times.
And he dropped 1,300 more damage than the next person in the lobby. If you thought that Sue was putting in work for his squad, Slayer dropped 4,100 damage, almost 4,200. This guy was a unit on the map. Least amount of hill time, doesn't matter. This guy was flying around doing exactly what his name says, slaying. And that is exactly what you need for Garnet to be able to pull out a victory, which is exactly what they did.
Really, at the same time, Slayer has a great game there, but nobody else was really positive except for one player who was what 22 and 22 overall. So, it's another situation and scenario where we just kind of point to it and say, hey, just because you didn't outslay the opponent in the best way that you possibly could doesn't mean that you can win a map in a convincing fashion. Once again, they do just that. As we take a look back at our map set here, Bocage, map number 1, 250-217. Felt like Queen's Esports was playing catch-up that entire game. And while, of course, it came back to bite them in the you-know-where, of course, they fall on map number 1. We go to Berlin. Same story. 6-2 there for the side of uOttawa. It wasn't close whatsoever. There was a few round wins for Queen's Esports, but it was not convincing at all. They kind of scraped by in those rounds. But then we went back to the same map for a hard point with a 182-point win for the side of Queen's Esports. It looked like it could be the start of a reverse sweep. Unfortunately, though, once we got to Desert Siege, it was the same as what we saw on map number 1. uOttawa pulled ahead early on. They never looked back, and those horses rode into the sunset. A 3-1 win again gives them a 2-0 record for week 2, and that'll wrap up this best-of-5 series.
Man, what a series this was, man. I gotta be honest, I'm super happy to be here, man. For the first day of CCL casting, this was absolutely incredible, man. And to end the night with such a match like this, especially casting alongside you, man, it's been an absolute joy.
Well, Rome, we're happy to have you here in the CCL family, and again, I can't say anything but the same. It was a pleasure being able to go ahead and find our way through this best-of-5 series, but that is going to end not only the series here today, but week 2 of the CCL. We will be back again Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, that is going to be on January 31st for the start of week 3 of CCL action. We don't know exactly who's going to be on stream just yet, but when we do get that, you'll be able to see it on Twitter and on the socials. So that actually just goes ahead, leads to a perfect segue. If you haven't done it also already, go ahead and follow on Twitter at CollegeCOD. That is, again, at CollegeCOD, to go ahead and keep not only up to date with everything going on, but of course, you get to see the the power rankings overall, the top 25 early before you see it on stream. What more could you want than being able to get a sneak peek of all the action inside of CollegeCOD that you have to offer throughout the entirety of the year? Either way, as I said beforehand, though, that's going to end us here tonight. My name's Ben McCormill. Rome with me as always. It's been a pleasure to go ahead and bring you CCL action. But until next week when we see you on the 31st, we're going to say goodbye. Stay safe. Have a great night.